No two cultures are more intertwined than that of tattoos and motorcycles. So we're riding down the highway. Robbie's riding in front of me, and I see a shiny spot in his tire.
We didn't get that far outside of Grinnell, and Dave pulls up and tells me there's an issue with my bike.
Yeah, I was riding, I seen the groove on the left, the old groove, and then I seen a black strip, and I was like, man, what's that black strip? That is too shiny. We found out his fender was broken, and it was actually rubbing on the tire, which made that shiny black spot in it.
Man, we're in freaking farm country, too.
The only business at the exit is an adult superstore. I mean superstore. This building was huge.
Well, Robbie purposely broke down in front of the farm store.
And it was probably the biggest adult store I think I've seen.
If we wouldn't have caught this in time, it'd have definitely eventually blown the tire, because that fender was riding right on the tire. A blown tire at 75 miles an hour is no good.
I mean, you got a lot of weight in that bag. It's smacking down all the time on it, and you're leaning on it.
We're 300 miles into this trip, and this bike without that backrest is gonna be hell.
So much for being 2 hours ahead of schedule.
So what we had to do is we had to get his bags off it, and we had to zip tie the fender up so it didn't sit on the tire, and then we located a auto body shop.
We found a place called Altoona Auto Body. Cruised up there, super good people. Thanks for doing this, man. Yeah, it don't even matter if it's an ugly ass bolt, you know, on either side.
I was just thinking that if we extended this bolt, get away from the chain link and actually weld to the rebar, it's gonna be a hell of a lot stronger than on this chain link.
Before we end up back here again, we might want to go ahead and cut this one and do the same thing.
Okay, we gave him all the ideas. Now let's sit back and just let him do his job. It was a welcomed little break for us, not for Robbie necessarily, but they got it welded, all good. We're back on the road.
We take off out of there. I'm flying high again. The bike's fixed. It's stronger than it was when we left. You know, I didn't worry about it anymore. Between there and Kansas City, though, we hit some serious wind.
Those are another set of hard miles. When I say hard miles, the wind is pushing you around. It actually makes you get fatigued. It makes you get tired. Those are hard miles whenever you're riding on a bike.
So we're going to Modified Ways in Kansas City. There's a guy that owns a shop named Kimo. He tattooed on a mutual friend. I followed his page and I really liked his work. Hey, Red Dog, did you see the water bottle that came off the trailer?
Yeah, and you nailed it, and it exploded all over me. It went all over Robbie.
I mean, it sprayed directly onto me.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you, bud?
Doing good.
Good to see you. Thank you so much, man.
First impression walking into Modified Ways, it was like a library. It was so quiet in there.
You usually hear music and some cussing.
I'm used to our shop where there's always music blasting. There's always people talking. But when I walked into Kimo's shop, it was serious. He takes his work very seriously.
When you guys have problems.
That was
That was
me,
him.
yeah. The sissy bar snapped and yeah, my fender was rubbing the tire. But we got it taken care of.
You ride, don't you?
I used to have a little crotch rocket,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and yeah, when I opened this shop, I had to get rid of it, basically. Can't afford to get hurt, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So did you ride out there?
Yeah,
What year is that?
65.
To see somebody in a tattoo shop that actually was enthusiastic about cars, whether it was the type of car I like or not, was actually refreshing.
It's a hoss, man. It's not your daily rider.
I try to ride it every day, but if it rains, you know, it's got drum brakes. I'm not trying to.
I ain't stupid.
Yeah, and it's like 6,000 pounds.
Somebody stops in front of me, yeah, they're getting creamed pretty hard.
I'm not the person that believes that every tattoo has to have some deep special meaning. In fact, a lot of my tattoos don't. They're just great artwork by great artists.
I got two for you to choose from.
Okay. I've always had a passion for art. In high school, I decided that I wanted to be an art teacher, but my senior year of high school, I caught a felony charge. I didn't know it then, but that kind of took my dreams of being an art teacher out of the question. When I got out of prison, I worked on getting my family back together, worked on sobering up, cleaning up my life. I always loved tattoos. I grew up in a Mormon family. Tattoos were not allowed. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the fact that I could not just do art, but do art on people. A moth is constantly searching for the light, you know, so for me, it has a lot to do with my life as far as a spiritual journey.
I didn't know if we were doing color.
I mean, I was a fan of yours because you're black and gray, but I love the way you mix your color and then do like a black and gray background, man. So I think I like this one better. He's an incredible black and gray artist. I started off with color. Black and gray was never my strong suit. I was interested in getting work done by him so that I could just watch it firsthand. Yeah, I told Darren yesterday I was getting my hand done today. He goes, that was smart playing it.
That's what I was thinking, like, it's gonna suck trying to ride like that.
We're on a motorcycle. Your hand is the one thing that's out in the air the whole time you're on a bike. And Dave's gonna get his hand blasted.
You were so cool to take this on last minute and give you the golden spot, man. Your hands, those are prime canvas. Everybody's gonna notice it. So you wanna make sure you go to a good artist when you're getting your hand tattooed, and I knew that Kimo was a good artist. So who inspires you in the tattoo world?
In the tattoo world,
I mean, obviously there's probably 100, but...
I try to just focus on people's work that I want my work to kind of look like, you know?
Right.
It just makes a good tattoo.
I'd never met Kimo, but he'd been very, very nice to me on social media.
I had seen some of his pieces, but to be able to sit there and watch him work and see how he does things, it was really cool.
Your shop's awesome, man.
Thank you, thank you.
So what gave you the idea to style it like this?
I like the old school barbershops.
Yeah.
I love the look of those. I didn't want to have a typical tattoo shop because, I mean, I'm here 12 hours a day at least, usually.
Yeah.
And I wanted to feel like I'm at home, you know? I'm here more than I am at home usually, so.
What do you think of the tattoo shows on television today? I love the fact that now I can thrive in the tattoo industry.
All right.
You know, but I think the shows have misguided people on the amount of time a tattoo takes and the amount of money that they're gonna spend.
People think that you can just walk in and get a sleeve and it takes 5 minutes to draw it up. I've been told by many people, like, someone will come up and see their tattoo and be like, hey, Kimo did that, didn't he? And they'll be like, you know what I mean? Because, like, they know what it looks like, but what they don't understand is how long it took to get that tattoo looking the way it did.
We're traveling around going to shop to shop to shop, and we're getting 3-hour-long tattoos. My point in that is to show people what a 3-hour tattoo is. You know, because when somebody comes in, they're like, how much for a tattoo this big? And I go, oh, it depends. I mean, we could have 5 sessions in a tattoo that big. In your shop here, how much would something like this cost?
Well, there's different types of shops. You know, you've got shops where you can go in and get tattooed right then. You can charge more of a flat hourly rate. Here, I don't stress like the cost of tattoos at all. I'm not really trying to get rich, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'd rather people come in, work on that tattoo, another time than to try to get a bunch of money all at once, you know?
So if your goal's not to get rich, your goal's just to saturate with good artwork?
Just want some really nice looking work out there. That's focus.
So what would you educate your customers? Darren's shop that we stopped at had this whole rule list. It just had all the things that I'm too nice to say to my customers, you know? Is there something that you experience here?
What about you, Logan? You ever,
What would you wish the general public understood about this profession for you?
I mean, you named off quite a few of them, but dude, quit calling tattoo machines tattoo guns.
In the tattoo industry, to a lot of people, it's kind of a no-no to say tattoo guns.
They're not sold in our industry as tattoo guns. I call it a machine because that's what it is. It's a machine that helps my craft.
It's basically an art instrument. You know, I've never seen a firearm make art.
When I started off, I always called them guns. I didn't think anything of it, and it took some old school guys to tell me, they're tattoo machines, they're not tattoo guns.
Unless you want to add something in there, some other color, I think we might be done there.
When he was all finished, he stopped, he wiped it down, and then just sat there and looked at it for a minute. He told me he was gonna go back and do some more stuff. The attention to detail, it just made me smile.
He was very welcoming to us. Super cool guy, amazing artist, just super, super clean work.
Right on, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, bro.
Hey, no problem.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Have fun taking care of that while you're on the road.
Yeah. He's an incredible artist. He's got a super light touch. He laid in his white before he laid in his color, which is different than what I do. His black and gray is smooth. It's some of the smoothest in the business. I'm stoked to wear a piece of his artwork and walk away better friends than what we started.
I'm Big Dave. I'm here with Jason. We've been longtime friends since we were this tall.
At Drury Agency with Farmers Insurance, I properly protect blue-collar business. I'm on Big Dave's team, and I'll be on your team too.
Big Dave approves.
The drive from Kansas City to Oklahoma City was horrible. Toll booth after toll booth after toll booth.
My face had gotten so windburnt and sunburnt that it was just really painful. It felt raw. So I decided to wrap up my face. I probably looked like a weirdo going down the highway. The last thing I wanted was to get to a point where my skin was badly windburnt or sunburnt and have to deal with that day after day after day being in the sun and the wind.
Denny is just lagging along. He continues to tell us he's gonna be able to catch up with us, don't worry.
People were flying past me and I was just keeping a steady pace, and I would catch them and then they would lose me, and I'd catch them and they would lose me, and they would want to go 90 and then 50. And car guys never watch their speedometer. We don't care how fast or slow we're going. We're watching our RPMs. We know when to shift. At 3,000 RPMs, I know how fast my bike's running. At 3,500 RPMs, I know how fast my bike is running.
He's got something psychological, and he'll argue with me and say that it's not, but when he sees 70 miles an hour, he can't go faster than 70. He keeps on giving excuses of why.
Tell Denny, come here for a second. I thought I lost his ball.
So right now, Red Dog is outside putting tape on Denny's speedometer.
He won't have a clue how fast he's going, and he won't continue and fall behind.
I held a steady pace, 70 miles an hour, 75 sometimes. I don't need a speedometer to tell me that. I'd like to know which one of you geniuses taped up my shit. What are you talking about? My speedometer, because apparently I don't drive fast enough for you knuckleheads. They're all big boys, they can ride how they want.
Oklahoma just made tattooing legal in 2006, so I wasn't having very good luck of getting hold of anybody. So I reached out to Cannibal Curtis.
You see some shops and they'll have a theme or an idea that they run with, and I hear that this shop is called Cannibal Graphics. I'm expecting something crazy.
How are you, man?
Doing good.
You Curtis?
That's me.
Right on. Nice to
Nice
meet you,
to say,
Dave.
yeah.
He's a cannibal. He eats people. Cool shot, man.
Thank you.
It had this red and natural tones throughout everything. Cubicle kind of areas where every tattoo artist had their own little separate area. But it had this real horror movie cannibal kind of feel to it. Like there was horror paintings on the walls.
From Freddy to Michael Myers, he had Hellraiser's Pinhead. When it comes to figurines and motorcycles, they're hand in hand with the fact that they're both kick-ass.
It's dark, it's horror movie-esque.
A very, very cool shop.
And you are the tattooee?
I'm the tattooee.
Yes, sir. All right.
I'm your victim today.
Here in Oklahoma, you get to meet Denver. It's kind of Denny's alter ego, fueled by none other than Bud Light. I'll tell you what, I've partied with Denver. I've been in public with Denver. It can get crazy.
All right.
All right, there you are, sir.
Wow, 3 hours, huh?
Should be able to do it, man.
Yep, I like it. I started talking to him a couple days ago before we even left on the trip. We corresponded with ideals, and whenever I sent it to him, you know, he was jacked about what I thought would be a good tattoo. As far as me getting a ship, the ships are cool looking. I do like black and gray work better than color. I even like prison style artwork, which drives Dave nuts. That style of work I just like. And that's the beauty about a tattoo. Find a good artist, have them implement what you like, and get it on your body and enjoy it.
Yeah, if we put that about an inch from the bottom of the thumb, that should end up kind of right there in the ditch. Like that, like so.
Denny is a bitch when it comes to tattoos.
All right, man, I'm not gonna like this very much, but let's do it.
When you see Denny, there's only two sides. It's either life sucks or this is fun. There's no middle ground to him at all. And he hates getting tattooed probably more than he hates riding motorcycles.
What's that? Is that just like a lotion?
You know, he's gonna whine, squirm.
I'm probably one of the worst clients you would ever have. They hurt. I don't care where they're at.
He came to me before the trip to make sure that I brought numbing cream. Well, of course I didn't pack numbing cream for him. I'm not gonna pack numbing cream.
You know, it's almost a rite of passage. Like, if you're gonna get a tattoo, you need to suck it up, you need to take the pain. But if I don't have to hear Denny bitch, then I'm gonna give him that cream.
What's your favorite kind of tattoo to do?
I like to do a lot of positive imagery tattooing, but I typically do a lot of Japanese stuff. That's what I kind of
I saw
around
a couple
here.
dragons. You like black and gray or color better, or you don't have a preference? Or?
I think, I like to do both of them. I kind of incorporate both in tattoos if I can. A lot of the Japanese stuff will have color for the main image and then black and gray for the background. So it's cool to mix and match.
What are you using right now?
I use the HM, their Spanish rotaries. This is their black and gray machine, the Santa Maria. And my ink, I use the dynamic black, and I just mix it with distilled water.
And the distilled water is to get your different shades of gray?
Yes. Yeah, this one is all black. This one's like about a quarter black. This one's 8 drops, and that one's 2.
Actually, this ain't bad, dude. I feel like I got numbing cream on. You're not gonna see me go into bitch mode, I don't think.
Well, once it starts getting tender and he goes in, hopefully he adds a lot of white highlights with the super tight 3.
He's just trying to feed you right into pain mode.
So tell me about your shop, man.
We opened up in 2006. It was actually the year that they legalized tattooing here in Oklahoma.
Right, we heard that.
Yeah. Before then, I had to work out of my house. I didn't really have much of a option there.
But you were forced to do that. I mean, it wasn't your preference.
No, not at all. I really wanted it to become legal and never thought that it would. There was a shop in Tulsa. They found a loophole in the Oklahoma law that said that a tattoo was a permanent mark underneath the skin. And so they would do tattoos on the premise that they were doing non-permanent tattoos because they could be removed. So they'd put that on their client waiver.
Via laser.
Took them about 6 months to get busted doing that. And they went to court and they actually won. And so it kind of opened the floodgates for all the other shops. And so they put together a tattoo task force that would go around and bust these tattoo shops that were operating. They would take everybody that was working in the shop to jail, but they wouldn't take any of those people to court. I think that they knew that they were eventually going to run into harassment. So that's what actually made it become legal, was people standing up and saying, no, I'm going to fucking do it anyway.
Right.
You know, and I don't care if you're going to take me to jail, we're going to keep it going and make it happen. And that's the only reason tattoos are legal here in Oklahoma.
Where'd the name Cannibal Graphics come from?
I used to run a warehouse at a music store. I played a lot of metal, played a lot of this band Cannibal Curtis, and so one of my buddies gave me the name Cannibal Curtis because of that, and just kind of stuck. And so, you know, whenever I was trying to pick out a name for what I wanted my tattoo business to be, I had already been given that nickname, and then I didn't want anything that said tattoos because it was still illegal here, you know. I didn't want to be handing out business cards for an illegal business. So Cannibal Graphics worked.
What do you think the connection is between music and tattoos? And I mean, in your opinion, what do you think draws us to the same kind of thing? Like, why do those cultures intersect so much?
It's a good question. I think, you know, I've always kind of felt like the black sheep being here in Oklahoma. You know what I mean? It's not kind of my scene, but I've stuck around. And the creativity, you know, that goes into tattooing or into creating music, I've found I get the same satisfaction out of both. So I don't know.
Why do you always find a Harley parked outside a tattoo shop? I mean, you always find somebody inside the tattoo shop that's either in a band or has a guitar. There's something to do with that subculture that combines us all, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is.
I think it's just a little bit of as you're young and you're growing up, there's a cool factor in one of them. And being that the other two are drawn to, whether it's the motorcycle that draws you or the tattoo that draws you or the music, most musicians have tattoos.
That was close.
I know, it was close.
Denny makes up words that aren't in the English language, or he misuses words. I think you got a couple of those ideals on tape today.
We corresponded with ideals. You wanted it too. I saw you. You almost got a hard on.
I was so hoping Musicians came out.
What do you think about the current tattoo shows that are out there on TV? Do you think it helps or hurts the industry?
I don't think that tattoos should be a contest.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think tattoo artists' skills should be judged on things that they're not used to doing.
I have a problem with them giving them a time slot and forcing them to do a certain tattoo and maybe not getting 100% of that artist. Like right now, even though we said that we need to be in this window, if we run over, we run over. I want 100% of your best work.
The shows make great television. I'll give them that. It makes great television. But from an artist standpoint, they're setting up situations to create bad artwork and then getting upset when they create bad artwork. I don't do biomac. If somebody had a flash piece of biomac and wanted it done, I would do it. You know, but my brain doesn't even process biomac, so I don't do it.
And you don't want to put an artist into something they're uncomfortable with because they're worried about it going into it. They're going to get kicked off and they're not going to pull off their best work. Do you think the shows are going to flood the market of tattooists?
I think it definitely has opened up a lot of people to becoming that. I've talked to a lot of kids that want to become a tattoo artist, and I'm like, well, where's your portfolio? And they usually have a few pictures, you know, that are kind of like, obviously that they haven't been drawn very long. And I tell them, I'm like, you need to have a rock solid portfolio, and then you can kind of shop it around. And people are gonna be more apt to give you an apprenticeship because they see that you've already put in work to become a good artist, you know? Man, I think I pretty much got it all knocked out, dude.
I'm digging it. Upside down, I'm digging it. Love it. As far as the pain goes, everybody knows I've expressed it. I'm a big pussy when it comes to tattooing, but dude had the lightest hand that I've ever been tattooed by in my life. I could sit through an entire sleeve with him.
You know, he's one of those guys that followed his dream.
Oklahoma and Cannibal Graphics did not let us down.
Awesome tattoo, awesome shop, awesome tattooist. My tattoo phenomenal. I will come back and get more ink from him.
It was the longest ride so far.
It was a lot of miles, it really was. My ass hurt, everyone's ass hurt. Anyone who says it doesn't hurt, they're lying.
Day 3 is in the books. So we're about 800 miles down. Day 4 to come.
And my typical sign off.
The typical sign off. Hey, this is Big Dave. If you want to stay in touch, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button for all new content.